founding fathers wrote in our Constitution that we're pursuing a more perfect union, not fetishizing what they happened to write down at a constitutional convention over 250 years ago.
That's what you have to say about our founding fathers? So let me tell about Thomas Jefferson.
What is that like? Am I supposed to be afraid?
No, I'm just, but Thomas Jefferson, he was the first president to ban the importation of new slaves. That's a good thing, right? So let me ask you a question. So
does him doing that good thing relieve him of the moral obligation for doing the bad thing of owning slaves, of raping slaves?
It makes it a lot more nuanced, doesn't it?
I'm the one that's making an argument for nuance here.
No, actually,
you're the one that's making an argument for we must only talk about the good things that happened in American history.
You've been doing more talking than me, so let me tell you what I believe.
Okay, sure.
That we all have something in common. You know what that is?
What's that?
We're born into a world we didn't create.
Of course.
And every founder came into a world where slavery was everywhere. By the time they died, it
wasn't everywhere, but it was lots of places.
By the time they died, there was less slavery than ever before. That's a really awesome thing. Shouldn't we appreciate them?
I mean, I have a little bit of a different perspective as someone who was a descendant of the people who were very much still enslaved when they all died. But I appreciate that you want to emphasize the good that they did, and I think that's fine. I also think it's fine if other people want to emphasize the bad that they did. I don't understand why you have a commitment to, it seems, erasing that nuance by only talking about
No, it's not.
the good
it's
stuff.
not erasing. I'm properly factoring in the positives with the negatives. So, for example, Thomas Jefferson, in the original draft of the Declaration, admonished King George for bringing slaves to America. He advocated for the abolition of slavery in 1790. The first ever anti-slavery convention was hosted by Ben Franklin in Philadelphia in 1775. Before the founders, there was not a robust anti-slavery movement. It was John Quincy Adams, the son of John Adams, who led the abolition movement in America.
Why is this an argument? Are we debating? What exactly is the debate at this point?
At this point, I believe these were brilliant, heroic, and morally courageous men who deserve not to be remembered for their negatives, albeit we could factor those in, but the positives are that they and their commitment created the greatest civilization ever to exist.
So you believe they ought not to be remembered for their negatives. You just said that. That's a quote.
People have to be remembered, hopefully, for something. In short, you should factor in. Like I said, the factor needs to be appropriate, and the factor should be.
And I respectfully weight.
That's fine.
Having slaves, I think, a little bit more in the negative pile against the positives.
Right, but they inherited that practice, and then they got rid of it. So they never defended it robustly in their literature. They never ran on it. Instead, they inherited an evil practice.
It is completely legitimate for you to weight owning humans as property less than I do in the grand scheme.
Yeah, how about the people that got rid of the practice? That's pretty awesome, right?
I don't know who you're talking about, because slavery didn't end for another 100 years.
Thomas Jefferson freed his slaves on his deathbed. And one of the reasons why slavery didn't end for 100 years is because they did not properly foresee the cotton gin or John C. Calhoun.
Oops, I guess.
Well, because slavery was on its way out. So you talk about the 3/5 compromise, which was actually an anti-slavery measure.
Yeah, I also had middle school history, but Charlie, that's not the point here. Again, you're arguing with me as though I have an interest in denying the historical record. It is what it is. I don't really care. My point is that for the whole duration of American history, exactly your teaching of American history has been what's taught in textbooks. Now, for the first time.
That's not true.